Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today, in celebration with the Hornets getting fixed in the .1a patch, thank you CIG, I've decided to do a tier list, yeah? I was trying to avoid doing one of these videos, but I was in a great mood on Twitch today, and I decided to do it as a stream, yeah? A lot of us had a lot of fun in there. There's a lot of humor, a lot of banter, a lot of good jokes in there, so definitely worth watching the stream and seeing me interact with the wider PvP community and my org mates, yeah? So good fun to be had in that stream, which is the second segment of the video. It's important to know that this is about squadron compositions in the PU and squadron battle, yeah? So this is your group up against other groups, is where this information is from. So definitely look at this if you're looking to go shopping before your organization heads into Jumptown this coming patch. If you want to roam around the PU as a force, this is the cheat sheet on what you should try to operate with, yeah? I definitely think the top half of this tier list is extremely accurate, even down to the order. And the second half of the tier list, I really do feel like these ships are not performing so well. But they are not in order, yeah? So just keep that in mind. The first 20 minutes of this video is me breaking my tier list down after I've built it, and then we move into the second segment of the video, which is me interacting with my Twitch chat, having fun with my friends and stuff, and working and building this list, yeah? So just keep that in mind. You know, if you aren't interested in the stream, how I got to every decision, then you can stop watching once I move into the second segment. Yeah, but let me know what you guys think, and let's get started. So just a few caveats before we get started. The lettering, so S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier is in order. And then after, once we get to E to F tier, it's a bunch of ships that haven't been on my radar, so I've done little testing. So I'm not going to rank them when it comes to like a perfect order of which ships are the worst and which ships are the second worst. But I did place the ships in order when it comes to the S, A, B, and C tiers. Also, this tier list, the website I was working with didn't have every Hornet. So the third option for the S tier there is all the Hornets, yeah, all the F7C series. So before we get started again, I'm just going to cover up a quick explanation as to why I got to this when it comes to these ship picks. I'll break down each one real quick, and then you guys can look at the video, the rest of it, for a process of how I arrived at every decision, yeah? And the conversations I had internally and with my chat based on every ship. But number one is the Anvil F7A Mark II. This thing is the god ship, yeah? There's just nothing better than it right now. It is the best dueling ship, even without the bug. Recently got some buffs to it when it comes to its agility. It's a nice silhouette, meaning it's not an easy to hit target in comparison to some other ships. The accelerations aren't bad. In a all-about weapon flight model, it's got the greatest weapons. So it's just, its entire suite is just ridiculously good, yeah? The best ship they've ever released so far, by miles. The second is just the rarer version of it, just another Hornet. Again, extremely good. And then the F7C series Mark 1s, which is just the suite of Hornets, just really good in general. Yeah, really good. Again, it's got so much firepower now that the gimbal system's been put in. Again, a nice silhouette. Really good for the same reasons as the Mark II. It's just a slight bit behind because it doesn't have that upgrade kit. But again, the Hornets are the meta right now, guys. Firepower is the meta, so you run with ships. For firepower, you dominate the airspace, which is confined thanks to master modes. So the Hornet is king, yeah? Further breakdown again. later in the video. The next option is at the beginning of our A tiers, the Buccaneer. I did not put the Buccaneer in the S tier pick, although I think there might be a small debate for one, but it does not tick every box. One is it does not tick dueling. So 1v1 experiences in the Buccaneer does not go the Buccaneer's way. It loses to every other archetype outside of its own. So it just doesn't tick every box. The box it does tick is survivability, merging, pursuits, third partying, which it does exceptionally well. But because it can't tick every box like the Hornet does, in my opinion, and it's not as good in my opinion. So the problem is a lot of people have been really misled when it comes to the Buccaneer. Is it a great ship? Yeah, it is, but it's a very niche ship too. And its ability to not be able to brawl is a consequence in a brawl guns only flight model, basically, right? So there's more description to that, but and my debate for this is that if you run an organization, and you go with a full Buccaneer outfit or squad loadout, your issue is going to be coordination. It's going to be timing. You're also not controlling the airspace. You're surrendering it, and you're trying to manipulate the outskirts of it. You're trying to create scenarios and situations in which your ship can be useful. You're too dependent on each other. You can't hold your ground. You actually have to forfeit it again. It's just not as good as people have been led to believe. It's a great survival ship, but it is not at the top. But it is very close to, yeah. Behind the Hornet series, absolutely. The Scorpius really is what this multi-crew two-seater fighter should look like. It's got interceptor tuning, so it's great at pursuit. It's great for escape, which is why I've put the Hurricane so low. Because the Hurricane just doesn't have the ability to survive and run. It is do or die where it stands, whereas the Scorpius, you can keep flying it around, yeah? You can survive a long time. You can really be there from the beginning of the ending of the fight. Hurricane's going to get singled out pretty quickly. The Corsair, which is the third on our A tier list, is just so much single fighter dominance. It's so tanky, and I believe it fits its role great, right? And you're comparing it up against Andromeda series, but as far as big heavy hitters that third party the fight, probably have to nav out when they get targeted. They do that role pretty well. Yeah, not much to say about this. The gameplay's kind of stale when it comes to the heavier ships until engineering. But for right now, the course has a great single-seater, gigantic amount of power, but you're dependent on escorts. The next ship, the Firebird. Look, the Firebird could probably move even higher up the rankings. And the reason it is so good is because it's got some stealth mechanics to it. It has the interceptor tunings, which is extremely nice. And the way that it deploys missiles is very rapid, very sudden. It has a huge gank assassin potential that I think the wider community has not discovered. A really good ship. The bad news is that even though its missiles are getting doubled, they're increasing its lock range with the next patch. So we're expecting it to be strong, but not as strong as it is with the shorter lock range that it has right now. But the Saber Firebird is severely underrated and an incredible ship. But you shouldn't buy them because the missile gameplay feature itself is going to go through a lot of work, a lot of iterations and stuff like that. We're expecting changes on that front in the 4.0, like they've mentioned. Moving on to the B tier, we have the Talon. Yeah, the Talon is probably the best light fighter right now, and it's the first light fighter up into the tier list. I put it above the Gladius and the Arrow because its nose authority is okay, meaning the aiming feels all right. But it's tanky for a light fighter, which we love because that's what we need. It's agile. It flies exceptionally well in atmosphere, which is really why it's high in the rankings. The size 4 weapons do more damage nowadays in comparison to the past. It's managed to make its way up there, yeah? The next ship is the Mantis. Now, the thing about the Mantis is interdiction is just so powerful in a team fight. It is a massive game changer when it comes to master modes because you're trapping players inside of boosted and SCM. So when you're forcing a ceiling of 500 or so be it, speed across an entire battlefield, you become a problem very quickly. Strategies bend to you. You become a target or an issue that needs to be dealt with, and you can change the entire direction of a fight. So even though its capabilities in combat are quite weak, and that is because its mechanic of quantum interdiction is so good, it goes up high in the rankings, and it goes up high in the rankings, in my opinion, very strictly because the quantum interdiction is just so powerful right now. If you use this with your group coordinated, you're going to have a really effective time if you bend your strategy to it. The Andromeda is the second of these, the heavier than heavy fighter class. Again, a lot of single-seater power. You wouldn't put it up against a Corsair as far as effectiveness, but not a bad ship at all, if you want to play the heavy role, then you hop into one of these, you can third party your fight. But I think that the Corsair has more to offer there. The next one I have is the A1 Bomber. Now, the Bombers kind of got hurt, as I was discovering in chat today when it came to master modes. Their speed was severely reduced. But I've ranked the A1 higher because its speed isn't as greatly reduced as the A2. It's more about precision bombing, but because the bombing mechanics do so well in achieving their goals in PvP, I've put it in the B tier. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good ship. Next, I've got the Hammerhead. The Hammerhead's an interesting discussion. I am not putting it up there based off the food chain. I am putting it up there based off what its role and the archetype of it is trying to achieve. It's a large platform. It's anti-fighter, so it can hold its ground well. And as far as this ship goes, it does its own role great, I would say, but it's in a class of its own. And it definitely needs attention. I think it needs buffing. I don't think the game makes a lot of sense with it, so it does fall short. But it's not far from being incredibly overpowered. Little tweaks left or right, this thing's going to be an absolute menace. So this moves us on to the last category I'm going to cover, and then I'll let you guys watch the stream and watch how much fun we had. But we're up to the C tier now, the next up is the Gladius. Now, the Gladius is in a sore spot right now. The aim experience, the pitch or the nose authority, what we call it, is really great. It's probably got the best aiming experience in the game right now. But the hull is just leaves something for desire. It cannot take a beating. The S tier Hornets will take it out in 2 hits. Like, it is just nowhere near where it used to be or where it should be. The Gladius is very much fallen off in this aspect, and it's just not a competitive option. But I leave it up at the C tier because it just has that great control. It's got the gold pass, especially when it comes to its combat aspects, but there's just some stats that are extremely falls behind in. There's also an argument that the light fighter class in general is really struggling right now, and that is the case. That is the truth. It needs to be buffed a little, not to be at the top, but just to be more competitive with the interceptor and medium fighter archetypes. But that's where I put it, at C. The next I got is the Centaur Ki. It's a huge starfish-like ship, easy to shoot at, but tanky. The reason I've actually scored it higher than what I would describe it as is it's exceptional in the atmosphere. You fly this thing in atmosphere, it has some serious presence. It's got the firepower, it's got the tankiness aspect, but it can fly really well in atmosphere. So because of the atmosphere aspect of the flight model, when it comes to the alien ships, I've given it a second position on the C tier. Not a bad ship. The F8. Now, I think some people are going to be a little surprised about this one, but it doesn't rank as high because it's been pigeonholed into being slow and sluggish because it has so much firepower to the cockpit, to the pilot. And the problem being that because these ships have been advertised as having this much firepower, CRG's had no choice but to make them extremely slow and sluggish. So the problem is when you combine that with the huge shape of it, it's a huge pancake, so to speak, yeah? Whenever anything has a disc-like shape and a massive surface area, they're easy to hit. So despite it being tanky, despite it having a lot of firepower, it just gets eaten alive, yeah, and it can never get its nose onto the target it wants to in a reasonable time, and by the time it does, the fight's already over. It's usually dead. So I give it a C ranking only based off it performs a little better in the atmosphere than it does in space, but in space this thing just isn't the better, yeah. Even in a group aspect, you're going to get primaried because you are a juicy target to kill. Yeah, it's a shame. If you ask me, and I mentioned this in the video, I think they eventually have to take away some weapons or make this a glass cannon and give this ship agility, because it is just a sitting target and it looks like that's where it's going to spend the rest of its days. So next up we have the Hurricane. Now here's the thing, the Hurricane is a weak platform. Like it just kind of do or die, has to hold its ground, but then it doesn't even have its tools to hold its ground well. We saw it recently in the tournament get plated. It was a liability for every team that played it because two ships are just going to shuffle aggro on it. Whoever gets targeted by the Hurricane runs away. The second player kills it. And I require a multi-crew ship to justify having the players, and I don't that need to outfit it. And I don't think this Hurricane is worth 2 player slots or 2 ship slots. So the reason it did score C and a lot lower, I originally had it in F, is because in atmosphere, weapons are compounding and do really strong. The meta is even more severely leaning towards weapons in atmosphere. So this thing does well in atmosphere. You can't shuffle aggro. You can't do drive-bys or flybys and strafe runs on this thing. It's going to kill you before that. So it's redeemed purely by the fact in atmosphere it's got some more use and the weapons are nice in that aspect. And the strategies that people would use to take one out fall apart in atmosphere. The next up is the Bennu. The Bennu would score lower, but it's got a size 2 capacitor, I learned in the tournament, which means it has a huge amount of firepower sitting inside ready to go instantaneously, right? You don't have to reload. You don't have to do power to weapons. It's got a lot in the capacitor. It falls apart on the other aspects. If it loses an armor, it loses its flight. If it's a large target, a lot of chance of collision, stuff like that. So the capacitor is really the redeeming factor. It's a bit tanky, but ultimately at the back of C tier. And then the Super Hornet, yeah, it's just lacking a bit of agility. It is a bit bulkier, a bit slower than the other Hornets, and I just haven't seen it used to much effect. There's probably some debate that this could maybe score a bit higher. I'm not too sure about this one. There's just been no point to run one. You don't want to go the tankier route with these ships if they've got options that have similar weapon loadouts and provide agility. So, yeah, I think there's maybe some argument that the Super Hornet could be ranked better, but I don't think it's as impressive and definitely the weaker of the Hornet series. Little unsure about where I placed it there. Maybe it could score a tiny bit higher, but that would be it. All right, guys. So those are in order, in my opinion. I stand by this. There might be a couple tweaks I could make, but I think this is the most honest review of the tier list when it comes to the usefulness of a archetype that these belong in, how well they perform within their archetype, and how great the archetype performs in the big picture of group PvP and more. Yeah, this I think is the tier list, really. You could go through more detail with the D, E, and F categories and put those in order, but it's a bit irrelevant to me. I explain in detail why these ships are in the F, E, D, C, B, A, and S tiers throughout the video. Again, it's a lot of fun. Make sure you guys watch it. Really good. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments, and let's let the stream roll and you guys tell me what you think, yeah? We gotta do this with explanations, right? We have to do this with explanations. Okay? So the Saber, okay guys, this ship, the Saber. Alright, let's start with the Saber. Saber is the worst spaceship in the history of spaceships in any video game ever. Yeah? It had its moment before 3.4, the worst ship in the history of gaming. It's a huge, giant pancake. It's nowhere near a premier fighter like they describe it to be. The stealth mechanics are not significant enough to justify the fact it's a huge floating target. They made it slower because it's got a tad bit more firepower than most fighters. And it will never be in a good place until they give it agility or beyond visual range missiles become a thing. But the Saber, for the last 3 or 4 years, has been the worst ship, period. Or the worst premier fighter, I guess, period. So we put it on F, yeah, because it's just not a thing. I'd love for it to be a thing. It's my favorite looking ship, but Yogi just, I don't know, has an issue with Saber pilots. Cutlet disagrees with you. Yeah, well, that's why Cutlet, we know, okay? We know what happened. All right, next up, let's go with the Scorpius, okay? So the Scorpius, I'm putting in S tier, right? We're putting the Scorpius in S tier regardless of the bug with the turret and stuff like that. We're putting it in S tier because multi-crew, like fighters with multi-crew, there's 2 of them, right, that stand out, that do really well, or don't do really well, but that are like completely in this lane, and that is the Hurricane and the Scorpius. The Scorpius is interceptor tuning, whereas the Hurricane doesn't. So it just falls so far behind. Yeah, it just falls so far behind. So because it doesn't have interceptor tuning, it's expected to hold its ground. But the problem is it can't hold its ground against the same amount of players it takes to man it. Yeah. So if you can't take 2 fighters, why dedicate 2 players to being inside one? Yeah. And you can't chase opponents, which is important because whenever someone comes up against a Hurricane, the first player goes in, he gets the aggro, does the damage to the Hurricane. As soon as his lolly flies off, the Hurricane can't do anything about the guy who flew off. Yeah. And then the second player just kills the Hurricane, and if the Hurricane turns to the second player, first player comes back again. So because it doesn't have the interceptor tuning, I mean, it can't chase anybody, it just falls off. Yeah. Not that good, guys. Not that good. So we're going to put that at F. We're going to put the Saber at F. Now the Scorpius is the opposite of that, right? Scorpius has got the similar firepower, right? It's got, it's a 2-man ship, but because it has interceptor tunings, it's so good. And it's so good because it's tanky and it's got all that firepower, yeah? So I put as far as like using a multi-crew 2-player ship, I think the Hurricane's up there. I think it's up there at the very top. This is what the design for these kind of fighters should be, I think, which is where, they're not going to get you into a turn rate fight. They're not going to duel you, but they're going to survive and they're going to make use of having 2 players. Because that's the problem, right? It's like if you have 2 players in the ship, CIG is going to slow your ability to dogfight. Yeah, like you're not going to be in turn rate battles. So because of that, you need to be useful in other aspects. The Scorpius is useful in those aspects because it's tanky, because it can run away, because it can chase, because of the interceptor tunings. So we love the Scorpius, and the Hurricane, as we saw in the tournament, just was a liability every time it was used against any group that knew what they were doing. So we put that there. The Antares, I'm not too sure about that. I'm going to leave ships that I haven't bothered to do research. I'm not going to pretend I know about them, okay? The Talon. The Talon. I'll put it there for now. So here's the thing about the Talon, right? The Talon is the only good light fighter right now. And the reason it's a good light fighter is because it just has the same light fighter characteristics as the other ships, but it's actually got a significant amount of hull. Yeah, it's actually quite tanky in comparison to the other light fighters. And the fact that there's 3 different segments that you have to get down, and the head, the helmet of it, like, is far smaller than the other ships, is why it's good. But mainly we're doing this because of the hull. It has the tank, and it flies so well in atmosphere. Yeah, this thing flies better than the Arrow and the Gladius in atmosphere. So we're going to put it at B. I might move it a little later, we'll see. But as far as light fighters go, the Talon's the best option. Absolutely. Were there other ships were banned other than the Scorpius and the Hornet in the tourney? No, it was just those. Yeah, just those. But it was every Hornet. It wasn't just the bugged Hornet. They banned all the Hornets, despite, you know, wherever that ranked. Okay, next up. Okay, the San Tokyai. We're gonna put the San Tokyai B for now. Reason is, it's kind of like a Saber in the aspect of it's really, it's very easy to shoot at, and that's the liability, but it flies so well in atmosphere, and it's rather tanky for how easy it is to shoot. So as far as the medium fighters go, I'd probably put it at a B. Yeah, I might move it around. Let's see. Yeah, but I think this thing performs well, the San Tokyai, specifically in atmosphere. Saint. No. No, this one will actually be worth watching. Okay, so the Firebird, okay? The Firebird. Now, this is where it's going to surprise a lot of people, okay? The Firebird, okay? The Firebird. Boys, where do you guys think we're putting the Firebird? You know, I'm pretty sure there's a Sun Tzu quote, which is where it's like, don't educate your enemies, but hell, it has to be done. Too many of you guys have been being led astray. C? What do you guys think? Wraith's got S, Pan's got C. What do you guys think for the Firebird? St. Nix is saying OPSEC. Dylan's saying OPSEC. Maybe we won't do the Firebird, boys. Maybe we won't touch the Firebird. Alright, cut the fun, delete the fun. Where do you guys think this is going? Huh? Where do you guys think this is going? OPSEC? Oh, dude, the whole Shadow Moses org is coming and saying OPSEC. They're worried about it, boys. Depends, are you including Atmo? Yes. B tier, F tier, St. Nix. St. Nix is worried about the repercussions of where I put this. F tier. It's trash in Atmo. OPSEC doesn't matter. Shit's getting changed in the next couple patches. I don't think this is getting changed. It actually... Oh, yeah, it is. You're right. It is. B, but situational. Let's, like, leave it for later when I'm not getting grilled by our guys. But, guys, it's pretty high. It's pretty high. All right, so... The Arrow. The Arrow... If the Talon is B, the Arrow is D. I'm thinking D. Let me just think about this. Yeah. Yeah, the Arrow's D. It just doesn't have the whole... the nose control's really bad, so the pitch and yaw... It's got a lot of inertia on the nose, so the aiming experience is really poor. Doesn't fly that great in Atmo. The only thing it's got going for it is that it's really small, and that really doesn't help with the weapon speeds right now. So it might be an E. Let's leave it at D for now. I don't think it's terrible. No, it's terrible. It's an E. It's an E. Yeah, it's not an F, but it's an E. Okay. All right, the Saber Raven. Saber Raven's cool because it's got the interceptor tunings. It's got the stealth, which is just a lower sig. But landing the EMP at that closer range without your ability to pitch and yaw that great because you're in an interceptor, and the EMP range being so short, and the fact you have to bring down a target, and the fact that the EMP doesn't actually turn off like size 2 engines and stuff. Oh, sorry, power plants. We're putting it at an F. The Raven's not good at all. Yeah, you can disable it, but like nav, but again, like it's just, it can't duel, it can't hold its ground. You have to fight an opponent that's already been damaged. And even if you do get EMP is just not that great. It's too condition based. You have to line up some hurdles perfectly. Like it's just too many boxes to tick, whereas a Hornet can just pew, 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 dead. Yeah, but with this, you're looking at like a 20-second setup. Yeah, and it's only good as a support. And why would it be any better than in other Interceptor for support? So, yeah, the Saber Raven goes to F. Mainly because EMPs are just so useless right now. They're just not that good. Like, they're just... This tier is way closer to reality. I'm glad. All right, so... I'm looking at the Discord and they're like, oh god. All right, okay, next up, what do we have? Okay, the Buccaneer. I'm gonna put the Buccaneer at an A, yeah? Now, this is the thing. A lot of people have been misled with the Buccaneer, and I need to explain to you guys why it's bad, okay? Or why it's not as good as people propose it is. People think that the Buck ticks all the boxes. The Buccaneer ticks a couple boxes really well, okay? But in the big picture of things, and in some aspects, it doesn't go all the way. Problem is, you cannot duel in this thing, okay? A 1v1 with any other archetype does not go your way outside of an Interceptor, because you have such heavy pitch yaw, which is the Interceptor balancing. It's great, yeah, for third-partying people, like, so coming in on a target that's already engaged or distracted. It's great for chasing people, but most importantly, it's great for running away, right? But PvP isn't about running away, it's about player versus a player. So if you run this, the problem is, and what we've found in a lot of our fights, is that the Buccaneer tends to just waste time. Like, in a time that you're going to fly away from a real ship, you're going to have all this downtime. Now, if you have 20 seconds of downtime, do you know what a Hornet could do to anyone in 20 seconds? A Hornet could kill 3 players in 20 seconds. So, you know, at the end of the day, when you're deciding where you put the Buccaneer and where you put the Hornet, you're deciding what strategy is the best. Hold your ground, do or die, or try to prolong the fight on your win condition, right? Which is never take a losing fight. Always try to third-party players. Always try to prolong death. You play like this, and this strategy is just not going to measure up, I don't think. But again, I want to make sure, so that's why I'm putting it as an A, because it is a good ship. It does its role that great. But the role is that of a team that's already planning to lose. So if you go in a medium fighter and you go to the hold your ground strategy, then if you back yourself, you should win every time. And the Buck is never going to beat a light fighter in a duel. It's never going to beat a medium fighter in a duel. And I'd be surprised if it could even beat a heavy fighter in a duel. Right, so there's just too many losing conditions for this thing, and it's not as great as people believe it to be. Yeah, it is a good ship. Don't get me wrong, it's a great support ship. Yeah, but it is not S tier. And you know, watching Summit stream trying to 1v1 people on the Buccaneer was just very clear that people got misled into how good it is. So we're gonna put the Buck at an A. Now, the Gladius. If anyone says the Buck is a #1 bad take, yeah, no way. Okay, so the Gladius, yeah. The Gladius, we've got 2 other fighters on the board, the light fighters on the board, the Arrow and the Talon. The Gladius is got a way better nose experience, so pitch and yaw. It's got a less inertia. The aiming experience, I would argue, is better than the Talon and it's better than the Arrow. The aiming experience in the Gladius is probably the best in the game, I'd say. But the problem being it has paper for armor or hull, and it just gets smoked. Yeah, it just gets really punished when you hop in it. So we're going to put it at a C. Yeah, it's not as bad as the, it's got better nose control than the Arrow, but because it's just got way less hull, I would put it at a B, maybe a D, but we'll leave it there for now. Yeah, but the Gladius is just, you know, it's great for dueling friends and stuff, but you're not going to want to bring this thing competitively out in any aspect. So, yeah, but I would leave it at a C for now. The Hornet, the Anvil Hornet, F7C or F7A Mark II, right? That's S tier. That's S tier at the very top. And it's been this way, guys, ever since that upgrade came out. It's too much firepower. It's too much tank. It's got the speed. It's gotten buffed. And it even just got fixed. Yeah, this is post nerf, right? Where the bug fix is fixed. Welcome to the best ship in gaming history as far as spaceships go. Yeah, this is it. This ship, by far, the best ship they've released, period. It's too strong. It has been too strong. It was never weak. It was always the best ship. And that's the reality of things, yeah? Like, this ship is it. There's nothing else that comes even close. And there never was. So I don't know, you know, where people place this thing, but it's at number 1. Yeah. Like, even without the bug, and they just buffed it. Yeah. And I'm not talking about the exploit, like the bug. They buffed it from its original stats on release anyways. But this thing is it, guys. That's it. It's got the most firepower. Do you know how fast this thing, this Hornet, kills this? It's like under 2 seconds, guys. It's like maybe 2 or 3 seconds. Yeah. Like, and a competitive pilot, if they kill, if these two duel, so like a Gladius and a Hornet duels, the Hornet backstrafes like this, wee, pew, 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 dead. Yeah. And this thing's going to try and get around it all the time. And it's just going to run out of boost. And then this thing's going to shoot twice and it's dead. So the best ship goes at number 1. Yeah. But the good thing is, though, is even though it's a little more agile, they've reduced its boost tank, which means it can defend itself positionally, but it shouldn't be able to, in theory, defend itself for as long as it currently can in live. So I'm hoping that might bring it into a little bit more balance, having the smaller boost tank, but it's going to come down to the size. Maybe this falls down the ranks when it comes to the 1v1 aspect, but 1v1s is such a small slice of the game experience right now. You know, you're not always going to run into 1v1s in the PU, and you sure as heck aren't going to an AC. So outside of dueling, this thing is just too good. It's just too much firepower. There's no real answer to how you fix this thing without dialing back its weapon, like its hard points. Or there's some other mechanics coming to the game that might justify it. For the record, I think that this thing, this Hornet, and all the Hornet series, because they do so much damn damage, they need to buff the hull on all the light fighters. I think all the light fighters need bigger boost tanks and bigger hull if the flight tunings are to stay the way they are. If they aren't to stay the way they are, and the light fighters don't get better flight characteristics, I think that's the answer. But ultimately, you're going to have to either buff the flight characteristics of these light fighters to be able to outposition mediums, which is really hard to do right now, especially against a medium fighter that knows what it's doing. That's the only way, yeah? So they have to either buff that or give us bigger boost tanks and hull, I think. Light fighter has 10% the health points of the Hornet. Crazy, man. Crazy. Like, if you're flying in a squad battle in a PvP fight and you're in a Hornet, you're looking to eat these things, right? Like, these are the points that you get to the top with. Like, you actually want to hunt light fighters. Like, they're your prey, yeah? So That's why it's just the best ship by miles, guys. By absolute miles. All right, next up, what have we got? We've got, and I'm only going to do ships I am familiar with or think that I could accurately judge. Okay, so we're not going to just spam all of these. Okay, the Anvil F8. Huh. So this is interesting. I would put it at B tier. Yeah, it's got a ton of guns. And yeah, it's got a lot of hull. But it doesn't have the speed. It doesn't have the pitch yaw as the others do. And it flies decent in atmosphere. So that's great. Like right next to the Santok, it does fly decent in atmosphere. But the downside to this is that it is so huge. It's got the same problem as the Saber, right? Look, their hull, it's a flying pancake, meaning it just eats damage. And the only way when you fly a class like this that has a huge pancake like these two ships have, that these other ships do not have, look at the shape of these other ships. Because you have to take into account, right? The shape of the ship is almost one of the most important characteristics. And because it's a pancake, it's just points. Yeah, people go after this thing wanting points from it. In the PU, it's too slow, too easy to hit. This isn't just a problem in Arena Commander. It's just a target. A target that if you get on the wrong side of it, you're going to get really beat up. You're going to get really beat up. Yeah. So we're going to put it at B because it's just got so much firepower. And the tankiness when it comes to the actual stats is nice, but it's compromised by how big it is. And when you have a ship like this that's so big, the only way to balance it or to make it worthwhile is to give it speed, which is where I think these things need to go. I think that the Saber needs to lose defense and gain agility. Yeah, and then it'll be back to what it originally was in the 3.4 era and before then. And I think it's the same thing for the F8. I think the F8 needs to be given agility and it needs to lose a shield or lose damage, one of the two. But I think they need speed and agility because when you get these big ships that are like pancakes, they get eaten like pancakes, sadly. Might get eaten a little slower, but it gets eaten regardless. Okay, so this is the F7A, I'm guessing. So we're just going to put that there. I'm guessing that might be the Mark II, but regardless, yeah. F7A Mark II, number 1. The F7C Mark II, number 2. All right. Next up, we need to find another Hornet. The Shrike. So this is interesting. It's 2 condition based. The Shrike's got a lot of missiles, like a ton. But it doesn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, it does not have the interceptor tunings, right? The Shrike has no interceptor tunings. OPSEC leak, shut up. Light fighter. Yeah, I just don't, I think I would put it in the E then. I would put it in the E. Because they're just going to get killed. You got to get too close to launch the missiles, and the missiles just aren't that effective. I'd probably put it at an E. The Firebird shits on it, yeah. But again, I haven't done a ton of research into this. I can just do that based off those 2 missiles plus light fighter characteristics, plus not that convincing stealth. Yeah. Nope. We're going to put this ship here, the Prowler. Oh, now it's funny because we have the man that is responsible, okay? We have the man that is responsible for the Prowler getting absolutely destroyed by the balance team. And his name is the Dark Lord, okay? I used to love, back in the day, okay? This is getting on YouTube, Dark Lord. I used to love the Prowler back in the day because it was the counter. It was the counter to the Sentinel, which was for a long time the PU champion, yeah, the Sentinel just had everything. It had great missiles. It had a little bit of agility when it came to the Vanguard series. Its EMP was deadly, and it was tanky like a Vanguard should be. It was beating everybody. The Prowler came along and started beating it. But a lot of other ships beat the Prowler. So I loved the Prowler. But then someone was making tweets and ranting on his stream constantly about how the Prowler is a dropship and it should never be used in combat. And thus it got its nerfs and was never seen again. I have never seen a Prowler in the wild for the last 4 years. Yeah? Not seen a Prowler in the wild for 4 years. So thank you, Dark Lord. It goes to F. Alrighty. Anyways, so moving on. I'm not gonna do any Origin series, guys, but I'm safely assuming they're all F. Yeah, they're just for a different purpose because they've got their the interior, right? It's not a cockpit. There's an actual interior with a bed and stuff, so they're multi-purpose. Those ships tend to be balanced at the bottom, but I won't put them near the F. The blade. I shouldn't comment on this one, but I'm gonna put it at a D. Probably a D, maybe an E. I'll probably put it at an E. And the reason I do that is because the new aiming system is reliant on gimbals, right? So even when you're using fixed weapons, you're getting use out of the gimbals with the new aiming system. Because there's no gimbals on Vandal ships, you're just reliant on their firepower, their insane amount of damage, and we put that at an E. Yeah, just because of that. Yeah, it could be ranked higher. Maybe take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. I'm yet to fly this thing, but all the old issues included also, like the cockpit view is absolutely terrible. The UI is hard to make sense of and see, and strains your eyes. Yeah, there's just issues with it. You know, it loses wings, stuff like that. So I'm just going to put it at an E. Maybe it could go to a D if people knew more about it than I did. But we're just not bothered with it because of that. But I would not be really trying to play this thing competitively at all. I'd actually be trying to play it less competitive than the Shrike. I'd probably put it at the back of the EQ, I'd say. The Antares we're gonna put as an F. The reason being, the EMPs are just not worthwhile right now. They're not incredibly strong. You have to line them up. You have to be close at range to be very effective. And then an EMP in general, it just isn't very effective. So the only thing it's got going for it, and I'm assuming it has this, but I haven't bothered to actually hop into one, the interceptor tuning. So we'll put that at an F, yeah. The EMP's not even working on it, so it's bugged. Okay, then it goes all the way to the back. Goes all the way to the back. All right, what else do we have? The Warlock. Again, EMP is just not that great, so you're just basically flying an interceptor. Just not worthwhile. So we're gonna put that F. Yeah. And keep in mind, this is all PvP. Yeah, this is all PvP. So, what have we got? We got the other Hornets. So the F7C Mark 1. The F7CM is the Super Hornet, right? The Super Hornet, I'm going to put it a B. Yeah, you can put a player in the second. It's got more hull, a little bit more sluggish. But that's the slow aspect of it. The fact it's a little larger. It's just not getting used right now. No one's using it in the meta, like, at all. I might even put it at a C. Yeah, surprisingly enough. Which is actually kind of funny because I'm about to put a lot more stuff into the S tier. So maybe I should hold off. Am I pulling an Avenger one? Yeah, people want to see what a tier list looks like. So the Bennu Defender. I hear good things about this, but I've regrettably not flown it as much. But it's funny, I learned in the tournament that it had the S2 capacitor when it came to the weapons. So the question is, where do we put this? Because it's got the largest shield. It's not too slow. It's got a nice shape to it, meaning it's not a huge pancake like the Saber and the F8. And it has a way larger magazine size, meaning it's got more damage inside of the capacitor than all these other ships. But it does get beat up. So I think surprisingly, I would put it behind the F8. And if it loses a claw, it's done for, yeah. So, like, very susceptible to colliding, given it's, you know, a really long profile too. I'd probably put it at a B. Because the one thing that's convincing about it is maybe it doesn't have raw alpha damage like an F8, but that huge capacitor helps, yeah? It helps. So there, I'm going to put that in a B. What else have we got? That is an obvious one. Racing ships. Scumbags fly racing ships in PvP, so we're not even going to comment on that one. I think I might just leave them all. The Hawk are really poor right now. It flies not bad in atmospheres, my understanding. It's got weapon. The EMP is very useless. It loses control when it loses like any of its arms almost. I don't think you can lose one arm without it hurting its flight profile, so I'd probably put it at an E. What do you guys think? I have to wait till my org mates leave to tell you guys where the Firebird goes. But I would put the Hawk at a E. What do you guys think? I think it's not that good. It's really not good. It's definitely not competitive. EMPs just mean it takes too much. Don't you dare. We aren't going anywhere. I'm doing it. All right, so we'll put that at an E. Yeah, it's not like absolutely terrible like the F is. No, it kind of is though. No, we're putting it at an F. It has to go in the F. It's terrible. They need to buff EMPs at least, and the hull or the flight characteristics you lose when a piece falls off, too bad, too consequential. We'll put it at an F. It could like maybe be better, but the point is it just ain't competitive. So maybe there's a debate that you can kind of make it work in a certain scenario, but nothing like these fighters. It definitely comes behind all of these, that's for sure. So yeah, we'll put it there. Alrighty. The Origins series, guys, I'm just not even gonna bother with these. I don't think. The Mantis. Oh, the Mantis. Okay, if we are talking about a ship that fulfills its role, the Mantis is great. Yeah? Because it can fulfill its role. I would put the Mantis here at a B. Interdiction is so powerful in Master Modes, and that's what we love about Master Modes, is Master Modes gives the ability for interdiction to really trap people and really work for the first time. But this thing isn't competitive in 1v1s. In a group setting, it's a liability, meaning it's going to get targeted heavily. It's signatures, so it's a missile magnet because the signatures are so high. It fulfills its role really nicely, but you're paying a huge price to be in this thing. But that role is really, really great nowadays. And that's what we love about Master Modes, is if someone decides to interdict, then that interdiction is now suffocating you. Yeah, and you have to deal with that problem. So we love that about the Mantis right now. Great ship. We're going to put it there. The Cartual. Cartual is pretty agile, slow power, but it's got a lot of guns. I'd put the Cartual... No, I'd put it in E. Yeah. I'd probably put it ahead of the Blade, just because it's got quite a lot of agility and the ability to like get around people. But it's just so huge, so easy to shoot at. Not tanky, loses a wing or an engine, falls apart. We're going to put that there. Okay, the Aurora series, we just won't bother with. The Andromedas, I mean, these are just like heavy ships. So like, I mean, as far as the heavy ships go, these are good, right? Like if you're talking about these roles, these are good. So let's just put that there. We're going to put the Corsairs probably... As far as single-seater, heavy ship, the Corsair is probably S tier, isn't it? No, I'll put it as A. The reason it's an A is because it's a class, it's a role, right? You're picking something that is larger than a large fighter, so it's got a lot of damage. A lot of it's in the pilot seat, which is great. But this thing isn't going to win 1v1s against the top picks. This thing isn't going to, do great. Actually, I should put this back here. I'm going to put the Scorpius down a level. Actually, it's just been demoted. But the Corsair is just really great for that role, but it's great at only doing that role, right? So the fact that you're not going to be 1v1ing people in that thing is why it can't sit in S tier. I think S tier, these ships have to tick every box, okay, that is PvP related. A tier is for ships that perform really great at their role, yeah? So Corsair goes up there. The Andromeda, so in comparison, you'd rather the Corsair for sure, so we put the Andromeda's pretty good at its role, so we'd put it at B, but it's not as good as the Corsair, right? So we'll do that there. Taurus and Phoenix, we'll just leave it out. Yeah, we'll just leave the Andromeda there. These two are different roles, right? So we won't bother. Not gameplay I involve myself in heavily anyways. The Harbinger, yeah, probably here. You know, like, because its role is missiles, and missiles are what they are. They don't perform well under server lag. These tend to be slower torpedoes and stuff too, but it does have a lot of missiles. So, you know, it's pretty basic. There's nothing great about this, but it's not, you know, arguably really worse. Yeah, it's just, it does its role. That's what it's for. The Hoplite I'm not even going to do because it's a drop ship. It's supposed to be a drop ship, so we're just not even going to include those. I don't consider those to be, I don't consider drop ships to be PvP ships, even though I've put the Prowler there despite Darklaw, but we won't put those in. No, we'll just put it here, right? Like, it's supposed to be here with the others. We'll do that. A bit smaller profile than the Prowler, which is probably nice, but drop ships aren't my forte, and I don't have too much experience, but we'll just put it there. Fair enough. Okay, the Sentinel. Yeah, it's in the E, you know. Not great, not bad, not terrible. It fits a role, right? Like, it's hard to judge the Vanguards because the Vanguards aren't just heavy fighters. They have their interiors, right? So, like, the bed, the, the bathroom, the kitchen, all these stuff, like the weapon rack, the stuff like that compromises its balancing because the balance team has to take these into account, which means they won't be perfect fighters regardless because of that multi-purpose. So they're at an E. Yeah, they're at an E because they're supposed to fill a wider role than just a heavy fighter. And so they're right probably where they should be. Yeah, because they're more than just a PvP ship. They have those interiors. The F7C Mark 1. So correct me if I'm wrong, chat. The F7C Mark 1 is just the basic Hornet. Yeah, is it just the basic Hornet? Is that what it is? I really am terrible when it comes to the lettering and stuff. Okay, the basic Hornet. I'm gonna put that there at S. What else are we going to do? Do we have any other Hornets on the board? Where's the other Hornets? They're not here. They mustn't have been in this one. Am I high? No, there's no other Hornets. Okay, fair enough. Well, listen, guys, in S, all these Hornets go in here, right? It probably goes in order of the Wildfire, and then the Ghost, and then anything else, the Tracker and stuff like this. This is also assuming the fix for the Tracker is in. But Wildfire and then the Ghost, because the Wildfire has a little bit better flight characteristics, is my understanding. And then the next one is the Ghost, is because it's got a little bit of stealth. Hull is my understanding. Maybe yes, no, I don't know what the status of that is. Some patch it has stealth, some patch it doesn't. It's a bit dorky, but I would put the Ghost there. If not, just based off the cool skin, it's got a really sleek black to it. But aside from that, then the other Hornets behind that. The Hornets are the best ships. They're just the best ships. They're so good. They are so damn good. Yeah. I don't want to do the constellations. No, I'll put the constellations, the other constellations here. Okay. Just because they fulfill their roles. But take what I say with a grain of salt. Yeah. The larger ship gameplay is something I'm not educated on. So and I'm not going to bother to do an hour worth of education on finding where it's supposed to be. The racing ships. Ugh, I don't want to go through this. And I'm not going to do the Avengers series. The Eclipse torpedoes are kind of meh right now. They're more PvE ships. They're definitely not that useful in PvP unless it's like very situational based. So we'd probably put it at an E, right? Like it's not the worst ship. It's not one of the worst ships in gaming. I should actually put that here. It's not one of the worst ships that like really can't perform. No, but it is though, isn't it? Yeah, torpedoes just are not that scary, right, guys? What do you think, E or an F? Like, you would never bring this thing out competitively in PvP. Like, you would never bring it out, right? Even if someone had hammerheads, right? Like, this thing isn't killing a hammer. A torpedo's not going to land on a hammerhead, right? Like, it would have to be there. It's just dog shit. We're going to put the Warden behind the Sentinel, by the way. And no, it should be like this. Yeah. So Sentinel's better than the Warden, than the Harbinger. But with this being said, though, I've seen Vanguards do really well in 1v1s if they just backstrafe and play like a scumbag. But, you know, in any group setting in a 2v1, that instantly is not possible. So I think the Vanguard would probably... Would it, though? No, it would. Yeah. Better in its roles. Yeah, the size signs are getting reworked. Yeah, we'll put it in an F. It's just not going to do that great. Like, yeah, you could surprise some people with some dumb fires. Yeah, you could, you know, launch torpedoes at parked ships, stuff like that. But competitively, in a player versus player that's at his keyboard and stuff like that, it's just not going to do that great. The Hammerhead. Now, this is a tricky one. Does the Hammerhead perform its role well? Yes. But I think the Hammerhead's the first D. Yeah. And it should be higher. No, it should be here. It's its first C. Yeah. There's a lot of room for improvement, but it ain't terrible. It is not terrible. I think it's got to be a C. Because a Gladius does a role, but it ain't great. You know, the Super Hornet does have that damage, but it ain't great. The Hammerhead, yeah, I would put the Hammerhead there. Yeah, it would go higher if the Hammerhead was more useful. But as far as ships of this weight and size go, it's competitive, isn't it? Like it does get kills. Like, so you'd put it at a C. Yeah, it's right in the middle. It's not great, not terrible, but it is a Hammerhead. So I'd put it in the middle. Why am I having a hard time remembering this? The Harbinger. Harbinger is a torpedo ship. It does torpedoes. It's very tanky. It's got other uses to it. It's really tanky, but torpedoes are just torpedoes right now, right? So it's just like kind of whatever. We'd put them there. Yeah. Oh, sorry, a Retaliator. Sorry, yeah, Retaliator. Why did I say the Harbinger? That's the Harbinger. I'm a dork. Yeah, the Retaliator. My bad. I've just, like, never really worried about one. Whenever I saw one, it's like they're very tanky, but you know, they're not a threat. Only if you're doing like really large ship operations, which I wouldn't say is PvP because usually the other player's not as interested. So, just whatever. The A2's so good, isn't it? As far as rolls go, the A2's so great. How well does the A2 fly in atmosphere now? Has there been any changes to that? We have a bomber wing and I'm not a part of it, but I'd probably say because bombs are in such a good place, it fulfills its role. It sucks. Okay, we'll put it in B. The A2 is F tier, but because you can't put it in F tier. You can't put it in F tier because the bombs are so good. Like, bombing gameplay is too good. It's a paper plane. Okay, then at worst it's an E, but it can't go into F, right? It can't go into F because the bombs still hurt. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to put the A1 higher than that, right? Like, because it does have more agility, right? So we'd all agree that the A1 would be better than the A2, isn't it? You die from your own bombs and MM. Sheesh. So we'll put it A1 here, right? Yeah. 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 So that'll be the first D ship then. So fair enough. Bombs are in a good place, right? Like, bombs are in a good place. You know, I'd probably put it in C. You're right. I think it should go higher. No, it should go in a B. It should go in a B. Right? I would put it in a B because as far as bombers go, it's got the survivability, it's got the agility to land the bomb. Yeah, the bomb isn't gigantic, but bombs are so effective. What do you guys think about putting it in B? Which means it's not great, but it's pretty good. I'd probably put it at a B. But then I would move this to a B. It's weird to rank in the tier list. Yeah, but like bombs are so good. And because bombing gameplay is so strong, like bombs land so many kills at jump town objectives and stuff. It's a role. And as far as bombers go for a role, it's really good. So I'd put it in a B. Yeah. All right, the Iron and Inferno. They're heavy fighters. Oh, you'd put them at the back of the E, I think. You'd put them at the back of the E. What do you guys think? Like, no one's fighting these competitively. They're gonna get eaten alive. Yeah, they pack a punch, but they're more so a liability. They're great for, I guess, utility in PvE and stuff. But anyone brings any sort of fighter, they're gonna get eaten for food. Probably get eaten faster than these other heavies. They're so bad. Ion trash, Inferno less trash, but still trash. Do you think they go into F? I think they might go into... No, because I'm not comfortable putting them way below the Vanguard series. But they're supposed to be better than a Vanguard. Arguably, they're supposed to be better than a Vanguard series because they don't have the interior. They don't have the multi-use. It's just a single seat. So these things are supposed to be better than Vanguards, aren't they? They are worse than Vanguards. Yeah, which is why I'm thinking maybe they should go in F. That's what I'm saying. They're supposed to be better than a Vanguard, yet they aren't. And they're only single-seater with no other purpose. So is that just a failure of design? We throw these into F, don't we? Yeah, they have to go in F. Yep. Because you don't get the upside of the Vanguard series, yet for some reason they're performing worse. Yep, F. So be it. Yeah, so be it. Why is there two bombers? Am I missing something? Oh, there's a trader one. There's a trader C1. Yes. Okay. Cutlass Steel, again, it's a drop ship. I'm just not gonna put it there, right? Like, there's not that much firepower in the... I guess there is, but still, like, I'm just not gonna bother with the Cutlass Steel. because it's supposed to be a role-based, and you're going to only bring it for that role, whereas you would bring a hoplite maybe for other reasons as well. It can do more of its own category, but a steel is almost entirely a dropship, right? The steel's the best dropship at the moment. It just depends on what you want from a dropship. Do you want, and I think, actually I shouldn't comment on this. There's better people that can, so we won't bother. The Redeemer, okay. Where does the Redeemer go? I would say the Redeemer goes here. Or maybe D. Here's the thing. People treat the Redeemer like it's supposed to fight off fighters. It's not. The Redeemers are supposed to go after Hammerheads and Andromedas, right? Like, it is not there to hold its ground against fighters. Yeah, like, the turrets on these things are gigantic. You know, the big ones. So I'd probably put it D. You can shoot the weapons off the turret with shields up. Oh, really? I would put it in an F then. But you could probably, no, you can do that with the, yeah, no, I think it might be the first D. The Firebird. All right, fuck it. Are we doing the Firebird next? Go, guys, tell me where you think the Firebird goes. Go on, tell me where you think it goes, okay? They're just putting it here. Where do you think the Firebird goes? Where do you guys think the Firebird goes? F. I'll tell you what, guys. If the Shadow Moses boys are all telling you F, and they're all saying OPSEC, where do you think it actually is supposed to go? Yo, how about I go into the channel? Hold on. How about I'll go into the live channel, and I'll let I'll drag the SM guys in here with me, and you guys can all tell us what you think of this ship. Okay,
It's
go
F
on.
tier. It's F tier.
It's F?
Oh my god.
OPSEC, it's F tier.
What do you think? F tier?
F tier.
Are you, honest question, you have to
It's
answer
so
this
bad.
very honest. Are you worried about what's going to happen if I put this in here?
Yes.
Oh my god.
That
you-
means
Am
no,
I playing
because
with
it's F
fire
tier.
right now?
No, nobody.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's F tier. It's not a threat at all. If anything, nobody should
Oh.
use that thing.
They shouldn't.
It's the
Bad
worst
shit.
ship ever, man. Don't even buy it, man.
Don't buy it.
It's
Wait,
terrible.
is the sale over? Is it still being sold?
No, it's over.
You should,
It's
even
over?
if it's over, you should
And
melt
you
it.
can't
You should
buy
melt
it in
it.
game. You can't buy it in game, and it's over.
You should melt it. It's F tier. Yeah. No, but it's F. It's F. You should melt it.
Yeah,
It's no good.
It's not S tier at all. Fuck. I'd say honestly, I think it's like
F.
E tier.
It's
Oh, you can still buy it. You can still
All
buy
the
it.
way in the
I
bottom.
think
You
that's
need-
E tier,
everybody
man.
should melt their
It's overhyped,
Firebirds.
bro.
Oh, that's too much. What? Why is he coping hard? This guy.
no. Okay. Now I'm dragging his back down. I'm dragging them back down. All right, and then I'm muting. Okay. Here's the thing. Okay, they're not selling it, so we're clear to talk about this now, right? They're not selling it. And we're clear to talk about this. It's actually probably here. No, it's here. They are selling it still. It's here. It's definitely down here. It's way down there. Guys, it's so down there. It's crazy. Okay, don't worry about it. All right, let's thanks for coming. Are they selling it? Tell me right now. Someone link me the store to the Firebird. Are they selling it? Have I been baited? Yes, it's for sale. Guys, it's down here at the very bottom. Thank you for coming. Shit, guys. Okay, the honest truth is it's here. It's oh no, I'd say it's like there. And that's being generous. Guys, it fucking owns, okay? It fucking owns. People aren't using it right. it fucking owns. Yeah, this ship is fucking great. It's so fucking good. Yeah, I'd arguably should put it up here. It's a fucking problem. Yeah, this thing is a fucking problem. Yeah. Keep that in mind. It's a real problem. Look at this. Aegis Firebird, fire it up. Yeah, but you haven't, like, no, you got to go to the store. If I go to the, dude, this guy is trying to bait me off the scent, I think. Okay, let's see. Ships, all ships. Firebird. View buying options. You can sell it, you dog. Joshua, thank you, dude. How are they using it wrong? Yeah, it's kind of difficult. But okay, listen. The lock range is really short. The missiles are really fast if they intercept your speed. And you just have to get them off your scent. If they assume that these missiles are behaving like normal missiles, then people are very casual about it. But yeah, I'd probably say it's at an A tier. What else is there? Steel C8 Renegade. It's a great ship, guys. It's fucking good. What else is there? I think that might be it. Like, I'm not gonna do the tenor. I'm not gonna do the Origin series. Racing ships, like, where would you put this? Like, the M50 isn't on here, it looks like. Yeah, it doesn't even look like this has got the M50. But regardless, like, the racing ships, they're alright. I wouldn't put them better than light fighters. You know, people just try to exploit them because they're tiny. So I just wouldn't bother. The blue. I'm a bit leaning on you guys for the Cutlass Blue. What do you guys think? I'd probably put it at a D. Right? Like, it does its role. It does its role, whatever. Like, now it doesn't have that top speed like it used to. Now they get shot at, right? Like, probably a D. I'd probably put it at a D, guys. Nothing compared to the Mantis? Yep. Yep. Okay, now I need to put the one Renegade in. Which one is the one with the Interceptor? Do all the Titan, Renegade, and Stalker, do all of them have Interceptor? I haven't played. All of them are Interceptor? Which would be the best one? The Stalker's supposed to be low signature, I'm assuming. I just never cared about these ships, to be honest, guys. So I'll just put the best one as far as Interceptor in, and then that's what we'll do. Okay, so which one would be the best one, Darklaw? Which one do you think? I wouldn't know. Like, until I see a convincing case, these are just always at the back of my mind. If the EMP worked, the Warlock would win. Yep. Okay, then. Then we just leave them out. You should pick the Warlock, if anything. The others aren't convincing enough, right, to do it, so... But one of these is better, obviously, right? Like, one of these is going to have better stats, or are they all just the same? Like, am I missing something here? Cutlass Black probably goes here. It's not terrible, but it's got its use. They're the same. Okay, well then we'll just leave the Warlock there, and the rest goes in the same. What else? These are starter ships. These are just different purpose. I really don't want to put racing ships in there because they're just dorky. Like, and they're not that great to even justify being on it. Like, you shouldn't buy a racing ship unless you're trying to be annoying. So it's just like, no point. Mustangs. We'll put Mav's Mustang Delta up here. No. And then the Origin series are so more leaned into their interior that I'm just not going to bother. Like, if you're flying an Origin, you should be flying it because of its interior. Otherwise, pick another class. No, the Raven's terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. EMP is just in such a poor place. Yep. Yeah, EMP's like strict piracy, and even then it's like an uphill battle. The 100 series, I'm just not going to bother with the 100 series either. Like, they're just not convincing enough. They're not so much for PvP anyway. And even when you do use them for PvP, it's like kind of whatever. I guess this one, we should do the, I forgot what this is called. What's the bomber called? The Gladiator. No, it goes here, right? Like, I know it's so tanky, and it's got D tier. Do I hate? Yeah. I like to put ships. Yeah, it would go here. It's just, yeah, in PvP, you're not. This thing is, yeah, that's a good point. It has to be an F because people are not going to bring this thing to a fight. Yeah, like, is it absolutely useless? No, and neither are these ships, but they're not competitive at all, right? So there's just no point. The miss probably here too. What have we missed? Anything? No, I feel like everything else is like a purpose ship, you know, or is more leaned into their purpose. So this is what I wanted the list to be, right? I wanted the list to have ships that are trying to do something outside of combat, just not on the list. Are they capable of combat? Yeah, but I'm not going to judge them because it's more about their role elsewhere than it is here. The Anvil series, the Titan, Stalker, and Renegade, I just don't think I have enough research into these, so I'm not going to lead anyone astray, but they're not competitive. You're not bringing these things out. Are they capable of combat? Yeah, but they arguably should be more combat capable because their interiors are so minimal, but not going to put those in. These ships are about something else more than combat. They're capable of combat, but they're not about combat. Yeah. Mustang S tier if you're an expert. Okay, so let's start from the top. Hornet, the new Hornet Mark II upgrade is just the god ship, okay? That's what this is supposed to be. This is every other Hornet. This is the F7A, the rare one, I'm guessing, is what we'll call this one. That's closely in second. And then all the Hornet series, you know, down to scroll up. What do you mean? Oh, you can't see the top? Oh, okay, sorry. Yeah, okay, sorry, yeah, at the top. Yeah, here we go. So, we have the Anvil Hornet, right? The Mark II F7A with the upgrade, number 1. It's too strong, it's too powerful, too much damage, too much agility. We like the shape of it, it's harder to hit than some of these other culprits, so we put it at S tier, the best. The F7A, or the F7C Mark II or whatever, the rare one that they, you know, only a few players have from a very rare event or whatever, is this, I'm guessing. And we are going to put that number 2. And then number 3 is just all the Hornet series, guys. All the Hornets, you know, Tracker, Wildfire, and all this stuff after the exploit, yeah? This is not including the exploit, but is all here, yeah? They're all in a line here. The Buccaneer is great at a support role. And can you stack that role to be useful? Like, can you make a squad composition of Buccaneers? Yes, but you're almost playing to lose at that point. And then you're adding conditions to your fight in which you lose and conditions in which you win. So we like the Buccaneer. It's great as far as interceptors goes. It is without a doubt the best interceptor, but it is not S tier because it can't 1v1, and booming and zooming can be really poor for your teammates. Yeah, they can just get obliterated. A Hornet can kill 5 of your teammates by the time you've come back around. Yeah, so that's it. The Firebird, I am going to put it today. Missiles are really quick. It's got the interceptor tunings. I've seen it used to incredible effect, but I've also seen it very average, okay? No jokes aside, because we like to tease about it in Moses. It's probably A tier. It does its role pretty great, and it's getting buffs coming. So, you know, there's that. The Antares, okay? The Antares, not the Antares, the Scorpius, sorry, the Scorpius. We love the Scorpius, yeah? I would argue the Scorpius should be here, actually. It should be behind the buck and head of the Firebird, because the Scorpius is an interceptor, and it's got the multi-crew. So it's got so much damage, and that's the best thing about it. This thing is only in competition with the Hurricane, but it ticks all the boxes that the Hurricane cannot. Which is it can escape, it can chase, it can defend itself on the fact that it's 2. Because the problem is when you get a ship like this that is multi-crew, the idea is it's not supposed to do a turn rate dogfight with you. It's gonna get it's going to have to hold its ground. It's gonna have to try and catch people unawares. That's what having the multi-crew is great for. But you know, getting the pilot to be guns on the target at the entire fight is pretty hard. So being able to lean into the interceptor tunings, the retreat and chase is great. So believe the Hurricane should be an interceptor tuning class too. It should have the same. These should be shoulder to shoulder, I think, for sure. Again, yeah, the Firebird, great. Corsair, as far as single seat, large ship, large presence goes, the Corsair is king. Really strong for its role. It's going to get rotated by a Hornet and die a slow death. It'll get rotated by a lot of ships and die a slow death. But as far as fulfilling its role, it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. Next, we got the first light fighter, which is the Talon. Talon is very agile. It does the light fighter class well, but the reason we like it the most out of light fighters is it's got a really great hull. Like, it's really tanky, got a lot of health in it. So it is the best light fighter, which only averages a B because light fighters are not in a great place right now, but it is the best of them all, I would say. And it flies very well in Atmo. Yeah, it's very compelling in atmosphere where the other light fighters are not. So we like that. Santoki, more competitive in atmosphere than space by miles, but because it flies so well in atmosphere and it's tanky and it's got the guns, it does all right. In a space environment, I don't think it's nearly as competitive, but not bad, not terrible. The F8 has really fallen off. Yeah, like it's great when you look at the numbers. It's got so many hard points, but it's a giant flying pancake. Yeah, the reason it's a problem and not scoring as great is because it's a huge pancake. And when you make pancakes, meaning the ship size, the silhouette, so easy to shoot at, and you don't give them agility, they just die. Really, yeah. But it gets B because it's so tanky and it's got so many guns. So it's brought up by the marketing details, but the actually balancing is really poor. It's really sluggish. And if you were to ask me, I think that they should take away some of its firepower and give it some more flight. Because flying ships that are this huge as a silhouette and so easy to shoot at, when they don't have agility, it's a horrible feeling. It's a horrible feeling. So this is only placed in B because no, it gets demoted. It's getting demoted, I think. No, it can't get demoted. Yeah, it can. I think it goes here. And I think this goes here, and I think this goes here, and I think this goes here. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that's closer to it. Yeah, it just got demoted. So did the Santok. Yep. Yeah, they're not B. Yeah. So, well, let's go on to the next B one. The Mantis is B because Interdiction's so strong right now. It does this role great. It's not exceptional at its role because it's a liability. The huge signature from using the Interdiction. It's a missile magnet. It's hard to escape with. But that role is so strong right now in Addiction that it goes to B. Santok, I put it at C because, yeah, it's it's not that it's good, but it's not great. Same with the F8. Bennett Defender, we put that here because it's got the size 2 capacitor, so it's got a lot of guns. It's got a lot of guns here, so we put that there. Super Hornet, you know, it's good, but it's not great. They make it slow because it's the Super Hornet, but it catches a beating for it. The Hammerhead. No, we'll put the Hammerhead at... No, I think it goes higher. I think the Hammerhead goes up. So the A1 Bomber, again, is really good. Because bombing gameplay in general is really good. It doesn't suffer the same consequences as the A2 being so sluggish. So it's more about precision bombing, but bombing is just in such a good place, so there's such a good argument for that. I'm making this list perfect, guys. That's the thing, okay? This list is going to be perfect. The Andromeda is so good when it comes to the large class, but it's behind the Corsair. Yeah, I'd put that there. And then D tier, we got... my God, I'm forgetting the name of this thing. Someone help me out here. The Redeemer. There we go, the Redeemer. Yeah. Redeemer is... People, like, I think are misled with this. They want this thing to be holding its ground versus light fighters and stuff and medium fighters, and I just don't think that's the intent. I think this thing is supposed to punch above its weight and go after, like, hammerheads, A2s, C2s, stuff like that. It's a big boy to hunt big boys. So I put it at D. It does what it's supposed to. It's not exceptional, but it works. Yeah. And it looks so cool. It looks so cool. Cutlass Blue, we put it behind the Mantis just because it's a Cutlass. It's got further purpose than just the Mantis does. But in addition, it's in such a compelling spot that we put it in D. Yeah. E, we got the Arrow. The Arrow feels horrible. Inertia on the nose, sluggish on the nose. The aim experience is really poor. Mix that with it has the faster turn rate, yes, but that's not as valuable when you have such a horrible aiming experience. So we put that as E. Shrike, a lot of missiles, light fighter tuning, doesn't have interceptor tuning, so it's only as good as missiles will go. So we put that as an E. The Cartwal, really agile, really able to outturn people, but it's a huge starfish, easy to shoot at, so we put it at E. The Blade is held back by the fact the guns aren't gimbaled, and the aiming system's dependent on gimbals right now. You can still make it work, it can still shoot at targets and stuff, but I just don't think there's a compelling argument. Also, the same problems that have hindered the Blade since the dawn of time is it's got a really poor interior, really outdated, and it's not getting any work on because they've replaced these for Squadron 42. A2 Bomber. Bombers are in such a good place, but everyone tells me that these fly really poor in atmosphere. They're really sluggish now. They even get hit by their own bombs, apparently. So, I'm going to put that. The Sentinel. EMPs are really poor right now, I think. In general, it's more about multi-purpose than it is, but it is a heavy fighter, and heavy fighters don't do terrible, but there's no compelling reason to bring it competitively unless you've got other objectives in mind, so we put the Sentinel at E. The Warden, the Harbinger, again, because of their interiors, their bed, the kitchen, these missiles, the mini torps and stuff in the Harbinger, we put these in E because they're more about other purposes than just raw PvP, right? And missiles are just missiles, right? They're either working really well under lag or they're not working that great at all. Hopefully the missile gameplay evolves pretty soon. Okay, Aquila Taurus, again, I just put these here because they're not about raw combat, I don't think. Don't take my word too much about this, but just more about their role than they are about PvP, but got the guns. Hoplite, again, dropship. Cutlass Black, again, more so about all the other utility it provides than just raw PvP. Yeah. Hubjar says bad missile arcs, apparently. So, the Warlock, we put it in F just because it's easy to shoot at. I don't think the EMP is a compelling argument for it to be good, and I think it just kind of falls off. Yeah, like EMP's in such a weak place, and when you base an entire ship around it, it falls off in those other categories. Yeah, like it's just not that great. Just not that great. Like, can you make it work? Like, there might be a small argument for this thing to go inside of F, but I just don't want to mislead people into thinking that EMPs are worthwhile in any aspect, really. Like, I just don't think they are. Like, yeah, you can, EMP people out of nav and stuff, but, like, that's very situation based. And we're talking about how well does something perform minute by minute. What else have we got? We got the Hurricane. The Hurricane, yeah, as we saw in the tournament, was just a liability. It can't hold its ground well at all against two targets. It gets outturned. It gets outplayed. People shuffle aggro with it. Yeah. You think the Cartwall goes onto the same as the Talon? No way. No, because the Talon's so good in atmosphere. The Cartwall is too easy to kill in atmosphere. I wouldn't say. Okay, so lastly the Hawk, yeah, like EMP. The problem is though, if you damage any of these wings, it just loses its entire flight control. So, like, can you make the Hawk work? Yeah, but is it going to be on competitive and a choice that you want to make if you don't just love the Hawk? No. Yeah. Inferno and Ion, we put these in F because of disgust. Yeah, we don't like that they're essentially a heavy fighter or supposed to be like a heavy sniper class. And they're single seater, so there's no other purpose. There's no cargo bay back here. There's no beds back here. Yet they underperform in comparison to the Vanguard series. So we're going to put them at F. Yeah. Not to say that you can't make use of them, but we believe they're supposed to perform better. The Bomber. God, I've already forgotten this thing. What is this thing called again? I forgot what this thing is called again. Either way, I never see it in PvP for a reason. I haven't seen it in PvP for 3 years. And if someone's in it, usually they're trolling the Gladiator. There we go. We don't care about it. The Gladiator's just not compelling in any aspect. We have to wait for missile reworks for that. Eclipse, Torpedoes are kind of just like in a Whatma spot right now. They're very specific situation based. And you're not going to get a situation in any ship above, except for maybe an A2, where this is going to be viable. So Eclipse is in a terrible spot because Torpedoes are in a terrible spot. Maybe we need capital ships before these will get higher on my tier list, but as long as Torpedoes are where they are, I don't think they go anywhere. Yeah. What have we got? What else have we got? We've got the Retaliator. Again, Torpedoes are where they are. The Retaliator sits there. It's so tanky, this thing. It's got multi-crew, it's got modularity and stuff, but these are not competitive in PvP. And, yeah, you might die a slow death, but you're going to die, especially if you're getting addicted. It's over, right? So, I don't know. This isn't really about PvP. It's about PvE, I think, at the moment, until there's more compelling torpedo mechanics. Saber Raven, here's the thing. I put the Saber Raven after trying this on stream and I actually got a little bit of experience with this, right? The conditions in which you have to get the Saber Raven to work are too specific. Like, you're going to be looking for the perfect window for majority of the fight, while something like a Hornet has killed 10 players. Yeah, like the Hornet could kill 10 players before you've managed to get the combo that you needed to make the Raven work. Yeah, because even if the Raven EMPs a Hornet, right? Even if the Raven EMPs a Hornet, it's terrible. It just gets smoked. It can't even turn the power off some of these ships. Like, it's just no point. The Saber goes to F because it's just the worst ship in gaming. The Miss is just the Miss, whatever. And the Prowler we put in here because it's got a lot of guns in the pilot seat, but it's a drop ship and it's useless. And I haven't seen one in the wild for 3 years. Hurricane F tier, yep. Yeah, I don't think a good Hurricane can beat two good players that just shuffle aggro. Like, I don't think so. I think the Scorpius is way better. And like we saw how well it performed in the tournament. There was no answer to it. Maybe in atmosphere it's a problem. Yeah, that's a good argument. That's a good argument. Actually, in atmosphere, it is compelling, isn't it? Yeah, good point. Because you can't shuffle with. Yo, good point. Shit, where would I put that then? Yeah, good point. No, it should go D. D based off atmosphere alone. I think D. No, because we got. Yeah, but like only in atmosphere. Like I don't think this thing. It just gets shuffled. Like a hornet's gonna fly by, do damage to it. It's gonna fly off. The second guy comes in. The guy that's flying the pilot seat will never get nose on before it dies. And then this guy comes back around. Like 2 hornets are gonna shred this thing. If it can't hold its ground against 2 players, but requires a 2-player commitment, then what's the point? You know, that's how I see it. But with a Scorpius, at least you can run away from 2 hornets and keep shuffling and try to prolong it and create like a winning scenario. But the Hurricane dies a slow death. You know, it's not even that slow either. It gets beat up. So yeah, I'd put it at like a D. Because in atmosphere, guns are really good. Yeah, but the Talon is so compelling in atmosphere, I think. And it's the best light fighter class. And I don't think it's terribly useless. God, why is the arrow so low? Because it's terrible. It's really bad inertia on the nose. Yeah, really bad inertia on the nose. Do we think this can be changed? Go on, guys. Let's talk. We got some of the most competitive players in the game right now in here. What do you guys think? If you were to make changes, give me some reasoning and let's see. Let's go through it. PvP. The tier list is PvP. Competitive PvP. Like, and competitive PvP in group-based scenarios based off their roles is how we'd say it. Yeah. How good is these ships in group PvP? I've been putting up some great results in the arrow despite the wiggle meta. I think you'd be doing an even better result if you're in a Talon or a Gladius though. Like you're doing nothing that you couldn't do in a Gladius or arrow, and you do it better. Arrow's a fun meme. It's too high though. What do you mean? 200 list? Competitive PvP, Cutlass Black needs a bigger butt so it can fit 4 to 5 rocks instead of 3 max. Yeah, true. Connie is better than the Hammerhead for sure. No, I don't, because I compare, I put the Hammerhead's 1 of 1, right? So that's why I put it there. The Hammerhead is 1 of 1. I'm only comparing the Connies to the Corsair. And I'm choosing the role based off its like validity, right? Like I think that the Hammerhead provides more purpose than just what a Connie and stuff does. And I think as far as a heavily multi-crewed ship, it does all right at that, but it doesn't do great. And it's got a lot of room for improvement, a lot of room. So, but yeah, like, I mean, obviously if we're just measuring how well it's per player, then 5 Connies beats 5 players in a Hammerhead, absolutely. But as far as the Hammerhead goes as its own class, which I think it is 1 of 1 of right now, like maybe there's an argument for the Harbinger to be similar, but I'd put it at a B. Yeah, and it has single-seater missile spam. I know I get trolled by a guy in Squadron Battle with it. It takes in Atmo and space to account for both. Anyone got any issues with this list? Anybody? Anyone else? Any takers? But yeah, like I do. If you're flying an arrow, save yourself and hop in a Gladius or a Talon. You're just gonna perform better. It's gonna feel more comfortable. You'll lose a little bit of turn rate, but you'll be a little bit larger, but you'll be in a better place. I'm definitely of that opinion. Mantis in Squadron Battle is troll. Yeah, but I'm not comparing it to that. And I'm comparing it, like, this isn't a squad battle list. Like, this isn't a squad battle list at all. This is how well does your ship do its role and how strong is that role, and then how strong does your ship perform in that role in comparison to other ships in that role. Hot in a Cartwell. Yeah, it's hard. Like, the Cartwell's a funny one, right? Like, do I think it's capable of more than people give its credit for? Yeah, probably. But in a group setting, I think it's very much a liability because it gets shot so easy. It's just too big. Where's the glaive? Good point. The glaive was not in this list. So the list is flawed. Where would I put the glaive? I'd put the glaive in D tier. I'd put the glaive in D tier for the record. Yeah. Sadly, this list actually was missing a couple ships. But yeah, you're right. I'd probably put it... Oh, maybe C? No, I'd probably put it in C tier. No, D tier. It'd be D tier. No, C tier because it's so damn tanky, dude. It's so tanky. And even when it loses like wings and stuff, it's actually kind of still controllable and stuff. If it had, yeah, if the Vandal ships had the gimbals to help with the new aiming system, I'd put them higher. But yeah. Yeah, so we'll put the glaive in D, guys. We'll put the glaive in D, I think. S tier in your heart, yeah. Would Corsair not be lower? Any good pilot in a smaller, nimble ship should realistically beat the Corsair by staying out. Right, Don, but the problem is, Don, is this isn't 1v1 stuff. Like, a lot of this stuff isn't good for 1v1s. If you're saying that, Don, then you'd be dragging the Buccaneer so far down as well. Same with the Firebird. It can't 1v1 people. Like, you know, not someone that's aware of its presence. The Corsair... Yeah, it can't 1v1, but this isn't a 1v1 tier list. It's about how well does the ship perform at its role in competitive PvP? How valuable of a pick is it? Snow... But Snubs, I also commented on this. I don't really want to put Snubs and racing ships on the list. I don't think they should exist in the game, to be honest, because the game performs really bad with them, like hit reg, networking, all that jazz. But they'd probably be, I don't know, E tier, D tier, like not that great, not that special, not convincing. Raven in EF tier, even with the EMP effects on nav. Yeah, no point. Why bother? Why bother with it? Yep. Yeah. Like, can it do a cool trick? Yeah. Is that trick competitive under pressure? No way. Like, I'm aware of the Raven, but it's just nowhere near it. Just nowhere near. Like, it's too situation based. And we're talking about bringing something to a competitive group PvP fight. Yeah. No. Like, is this great at catching people trying to run away with their cargo and stuff, like, and EMPing them out of nav? Yeah, okay, maybe there's a use for that. How much use are you going to get out of that in a day-to-day, minute-by-minute fight? Barely any. So that's why I put it so low. Cuddy Steel, it's a tank. Yeah, but it's more about, it's a purpose-built ship. Again, it's not supposed to be there to throw down. If you're bringing a Cuddy, you're not bringing it to a competitive PvP fight because you want it to be good in a competitive PvP fight. You're supposed to use it because it is a drop ship. And yeah, just not competitive in a PvP sense unless you start to give it scenarios and objectives. But yeah. F7 Mark II and F7C Mark both S tier. Yep, best ships in the game. Hornet series are king right now. Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Yeah. Best ships in the game. The reason I do that too is, like, if these Hornets are the best at dueling, if these Hornets can smoke players in group fights, if these Hornets are not easy to kill like some of these other ships, and they have the hull that they do, and weapons are king in this flight model, which they are. It's a weapon-based flight model right now. We're hoping for changes in the future. The Hornet ticks all the boxes. The Buccaneer doesn't tick boxes. The Buccaneer can't duel. It has to wait for a good opportunity to strike. That opportunity might not present itself. And then you're sitting there with, waiting around for something to happen, you know? Even so, say you're in a Buccaneer and you use its strength of escapability to run away because pressure's been applied to you. Guess what happened to your teammate when the Hornet swapped off? Your teammate died. So ambush roll, whichever, the Firebird or the Buck. The Buck. But I want to, like, the Firebird's compelling, guys. It's good. And then yeah, the Scorpius is just, you know, what multi-crew should be. The Hurricane should have interceptor stats like the Scorpius, I believe. All bucks then? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think all bucks is the answer. I think at that point you're playing to lose. Yeah? Like you're playing to lose at that point. If the Hurricane was an interceptor speed, it might be good. Its HP is just criminally low. Yeah, it just like it can't hold its ground. It runs out of resources, and it's a sitting duck. Give the same buff and it'll be really good. Yeah, yeah. If it gets like higher turn rate and stuff like that, I could agree. Yeah, yeah. Like keep in mind, like because a ship got D tier, in my opinion, doesn't mean that they're terrible. You know, the thing is, I would put it at the, like, there's a real good argument it should belong in C. Because in atmosphere, guns compound and become so much stronger. Weapon-based ships are so much stronger in atmosphere, but this thing's gonna lose in space. Like, it absolutely is. Yeah, that's a good point. I would put it like this, guys. No, I'd put it like that. I think that's right, the perfect spot. Because 2 F8s in atmosphere is better than a Hurricane. But a Hurricane in atmosphere is stronger than a Bennu. 2 Bennus, I would say. I'd put it right about there, actually. I think that's a better spot. Yeah, I think that's a better spot. I think that's the perfect spot now I think about it. Behind the F8, second to that. Only saved by the fact that atmosphere makes weapons so good. Mantis is sitting in B chilling. The reason I put the Mantis in B is because interdiction is such a strong and important mechanic about master modes. Interdiction is one of the most important mechanics about master modes. It is what compounds, it's what suffocates people into the new flight, right? So because interdiction is so good, that's why I put it there. Mantises in team fights can change the game. What makes the Redeemer D tier? It's so tanky. It's got so much firepower. It's not supposed to fight fighters, in my opinion. It's supposed to hunt things down like Corsairs and Hammerheads and stuff like that. I don't think it's useless. I don't think it's great. I put it right in the middle. I think it's in a good spot in D. Because some people want this thing to be able to fight off fighters. Like, that's ridiculous in my opinion. Like, super ridiculous. Like, I think this thing's supposed to punch above its weight. You can't imagine it fighting fighters right now or ever. Yeah, I don't think it's supposed to be for that. Like, I don't think it's supposed to just die to fighters. Like, it should put up a tiny fight with the smaller turrets. But I think this thing is about going after hunting big prey. Think it's going to change? Yeah. We need a true Mantis competitor. I was hoping the Firebird would be it. Just wait for the Zeus. I'm guessing it'll be solid competition with the Mantis. Does it have interdiction? I haven't looked at the Zeus. I try not to invest in ships that are in grey box and stuff like that. Concept phase. It has QED and EMP. Shit. Okay. But there you go, guys. I think that, guys, I think that's it. I think that is the most accurate competitive PvP ship tier list when it comes to ships performing their own roles and how well their roles stack up in the grand scheme of things. I think that's it. Yeah, there's some snubs and some missing ships here. Like, just apologies, the list doesn't have it. But the Glaive, I'd probably put it in D tier. I think the Glaive just has such good guns, so tanky. So there's a compelling debate there. But no gimbals, no agility, or not as much agility. And then the horrible cockpit experience, I don't think it can go above D, but the guns talk for themselves. Yeah. So D for that. Snub fighters I'd put in D as well. Like they're annoying, they're small. The same with the racing ships. But they're not gonna outperform light fighters, you know? So I would say no to that. Now, do an expert, average, beginner, color coded? No way. I think that's it. I think that's it, guys. Yeah. No, it looks perfect. Like the Talon, I like it in B. I like the Gladius in C. I like the Arrow in E. I like all of this. I think this is it. I love the Saber Raven in F. The Saber Raven's just not that good. It just ain't compelling. It's very situation based. I love the Saber at the very back, okay? It's a crime. This thing should be up here, yeah? The Saber should be at the top, but it's a slow pancake that we all get to eat. Like, the Saber's just not it. It just ain't it. And it's been not it for too long of a time. Bring back the Saber, yeah? I don't know what the Saber did to piss Yogi and his team off back in the day, but it's just never been able to recapture its glory. Yeah, I would, if it was based off looks, I'd put the Saber at number 1. I love the Saber, but I don't think there's a single guy in our org that owns one of these. And if they did, I think they'd get laughed at in Discord. Like, it's shocking. Sad. I even made a thread on Spectrum asking them to buff this thing. The problem with the Saber, and it's the same problem with the F8, is when you have a ship that is such a huge silhouette, it's such a huge target to shoot at, it needs agility. It's the only way to balance it. It has to have agility. But when you slow it down and give it hull, you make the ship boring to fly, and it just dies a slow death every time. The 1.5 kilometer detection range is worth something, but yeah, it just gets eaten alive too quickly. You just wouldn't want to bring something out. Like, I'm not denying that some of these ships in the F tier could be used to fulfill a purpose, but I think that they don't fulfill their purpose well enough. Like, here's an argument for the F tier versus the E tier, right? If I go into a Sentinel that has a bed, you know, it's got a shower, stuff like this, right? Or whatever it does. I haven't been in one of these in a couple of years. But if it's got all these roles outside of pure combat, like these Vanguard series have interiors, you know, the hub has all these missiles and stuff like that, hoplite dropship capabilities, Warden's got the bed, the kitchen, stuff like that. If these ships have these other purposes, and an Inferno and Ion is only a single-seater ship, why do these ships outperform the Ion and Inferno when the Ion and Inferno have less going for it? The Ion and Inferno are only single-seater ships, so they should outperform these ships that have more than just combat as a purpose. Like, the consequence to these ships having these interiors for other objectives, you know, and these ships not having interiors, the Inferno and Ion, means that the Inferno and Ion should outperform them, but they don't for some reason. So we have to put them in F because they deserve to be put higher. Everything in F deserves buffs. Yeah? That's what it is. Everything in F deserves buffs. Everything in E deserves at least slight buffs. D, kind of slight, tiny buffs, I'd guess. C are all combat specific roles. I would say small buffs, B, small buffs. A and S are fine. S need kind of nerfs, if anything. Except the Raven, keep it bad. I have 2 Ravens. Give me one. Can't give them away. Not giftable. If you gift you one, you'll want it buffed. Do what's funny? Back in the day in the 3.4 patch, I actually only bought the Saber Raven because it had the Quarella cannons, and you could strip them off and put them onto a Saber. So back in the day, the meta was to strip the guns, the cannons off the Saber Raven, put them on the Saber every time you died. So they were just, it was just a ship that I kept pulling parts off from all day. That's the reason I bought one. But there you go, guys. That's it. I think that is the perfect competitive PvP group role-based tier list. I think that's it. I genuinely think I maybe the Firebird would actually come down a little. No, I'll put it there. Yeah. But the Firebird ain't useless, guys, okay? It ain't useless. I've seen it used to terrible effect, but it's limited terrible effect, okay? Limited. But aside from that, I think that's accurate. That's honest. That's accurate. That's not me hiding things. I think that is, I think that's it. I think that's the perfect list. All the Hornet series, from top to bottom, except for the Super Hornet Smarty, I put all of them in S tier. I just can't justify putting the Arrow better than a Gladius or a Talon. Because, like, what does the Arrow do that the Gladius and Talon aren't beating it at? And on top of that, the Gladius and Talons beat the Arrow. And it ain't for lack of trying. I'm talking about, like, hundreds and hundreds of duels, like, have led to that. Like, and I just don't think it's compelling. Like, the thing is, too, is one of the greatest things about the Arrow was that it had great nose control. It used to have great pitch and yaw. They gave it the worst pitch and yaw now. And now the Gladius has the great pitch and yaw. And back in the day, the Gladius had the worser pitch and yaw. So, like, the nose authority on the Gladius used to be worse than the Arrow, and the Arrow had great nose authority. They flipped that with master modes. So, I put it at E. I think that's exactly where it deserves to be competitively, for sure. What loadouts are you using for the test? The most competitive. Cannons. Cannons. Because it's a competitive list, competitive options. Omnis, yeah. Yep. Omnis, M5s. Yep. Yeah, I don't think it goes nowhere near it. Like, if you're flying the Arrow and you believe it to be great, I would challenge you to hop in a Talon and a Gladius for a couple days, and I think you'll be very happy with the results. Truly. I think that's it. But yeah, and then the rest are just like racing ships, guys. Like, we don't care about those. Are they terrible? No. Are they good? No. Do we want them to be good? No, because they're damn snub fighters and they're damn racing ships. So, damn them, delete them if you ask me. Alright, boys, that's it, yeah? That's the tier list. River Grits never lost a battle in MM. I believe it. 125 and a 325. I just didn't put them in because they're more about separate purpose. I didn't want to bring in starter ships like the Sayulan, the Mustangs, stuff like that, because they're starter ships. They're not supposed to be competitive. They're starter ships. So I didn't put those in. And then the 300 series, I didn't put it in because I believe they're more about their interior than they are that they are for competitive PvP. I think the objectives of the 300 series is that they have interiors. You buy them because of its interior. That's the selling point. So it's always destined to underperform in PvP combat because it's for another purpose. That's why I didn't put them. I also don't, and because of that reason, I don't fly them. But no one's going to shock me and fly this thing and do well in it, so I just don't care to put it in the list. Like the tenor, like here, we should add the tenor. What do we think about the tenor, just real quick? What do we think about the tenor? Probably fucking F, right? Like, it's probably F. Bottom of F tier. Okay. Yeah, that's why I didn't put it in the list, because it just wasn't worth it. Not flying it. Haven't seen anyone fly it. If someone's flying it, they're doing it for shits and giggles. We put it at F. But there you go, guys. I think that's it. Like, I think, like, looking at this for real, like, I think that this is it. This is absolutely it. That is the perfect list. Let me just make it bigger on the screen. I should have done this sooner. But that's it. That's the best list, I think. That is honesty. That is it, I think. That's what the current state of things is. Not what we want them to be at all. Not based off any conditions. That is raw, pound for pound. What is the best competitive ships to pick? Mantis is up there. Yeah, because this interdiction is just so compelling. Interdiction is just so powerful. It makes it can decide whether a ship composition or a fleet composition, squadron composition is good or bad. It changes the entire strategy of a fight when it comes into it. It has to be dealt with. Interdiction is just so powerful itself with master modes, and it can be used to like such powerful effect. So yeah. I mean, if this thing is turned on around you, you are limited to 400 speed instead of 1200. So it's like you're trapped in a cage with this thing and whoever its friends are if you're alongside it. So yeah, and it requires coordination too because you're in the cage as well. You know, like it's also in the cage. But yeah, I put it at B not because it's competitive as a ship. It's just interdiction is just so powerful as a role, and it does that role pretty decent. It could do its role a lot better and be more competitive in the grand scheme of things. Like I'm not under the impression that this isn't the worst fighter here, but it's more about its interdiction capability is just so damn good. It's just so damn good. If you are flying anything on the top end of this, and you're not in all interceptors, you're worrying about this guy. This guy's an issue for you. So, if you ever see A1 in your squadron battle bring a Mantis out, there's no point because he flies only interceptors that don't require skin in the game. Like, he doesn't fly Hornets because you have to fight your way through opponents when you're in a Hornet. The only way out in a Hornet is through. With a buck, you can just play cameraman until someone's in a position that you can take advantage of. But yeah, Buccaneer is almost a ship that you pick if you're planning to lose, you know. And that's why I don't think it's as viable a pick. And it can also cost you, you know, if you're in one of these and you're playing so careful because you don't want to die. Guess what the other Hornet's doing? Mowing down your teammates. Just gun. You know, and then this guy is in Narnia like, oh, I'm coming back, guys. I'm coming back. This guy's killed all your friends in the meantime. He puts far too much credence into boom and zoom tactics. Yeah. Yep. Boom and zoom is a playstyle that is you don't have confidence in your abilities. You know, like that's the reality of it. You're picking that Talon, the Buccaneer, because you've given up on the the ability to 1v1 because it's not a 1v1 ship. It's arguably one of the worst ships 1v1, right? So it can't 1v1. It's built to escape. It's built to chase. So it means like you're relying on other teammates to do the fighting for you. It can die before it completes a pass. That's what's important to know, guys. If you're in a Buccaneer, right, and you've picked a Hornet as your target and that Hornet knows about you, you will not complete a pass. Do you understand that? Like this boy flies along, zoom. This Hornet's facing him, bang, 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 dead, right? You're dead before you got here. You know, like that's the problem. I can't tell you how many times, like internally, I've gotten smoked in a buck by Hornets. Smoked. So yeah, it's just a really safe low skin in the game pick. It feels like you're planning to lose or you're planning to get chased, and it's better to just hold your ground, do or die. I put more credence into, or I put more confidence into holding your ground and fighting through your opponents rather than trying to outskirt your opponents and look for opportunities. What about the buck for a chaser? It's great for a chaser. That's why I put it in A. It's great for chasing. It's great for escaping, but it's so bad in 1v1s. And the timing of which you escape with can hurt your teammates so much. If like, because here's the thing, guys. If you're in 10 Buccaneers, right, and you fight another group, yeah, and they're not in these Buccaneers, 5 of your Buccaneers are probably going to be running away, and then the other 5 engage, and you just shuffle like that, back and forth, right? Like, people do their strafe run, they run away, they come back. You know what the problem is? The Hornets are playing at 10v5 the whole time. Just smoking dudes with so much firepower that they don't care if you run away. If you run away, good. You're letting us kill your teammates, you know? Like, and the more pressure the Hornets build, these teammates of yours start owning the airspace so heavily that they're starting to now plan for you coming by and doing your run and shooting you as you try to do your runs, your strafe runs. Like, it doesn't work. It's not as good as people think it is. But I do give it credit. Like, if you want to never die in one of these things, that's entirely possible. But in a group versus group setting, it's not the only answer. And I wouldn't even say it's the best. Yeah. But it's good. Like, it's definitely good. That's why it's A. And it's at the top of A. It's definitely good. But it's not the end of the argument, I don't think. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, look at how the tournament went, right? What did the French team do? They go for the buck. The Buccaneer runs away. They immediately kill the teammate before the buck comes back. That's my entire argument, yeah? Like, it's exactly that. Is the buck spends too much time running away that he creates too significant of a disadvantage back at the team fight. And I'm not to say, like, it's not terrible. It ain't bad, but it ain't, you know, as high as some people claim it to be, for sure. Evshev, appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Cool to see some new faces in here, guys. Guys, I gotta go hit the gym before I start work, yeah? So, GG's. This has been a lot of fun. Buy these ships, boys. Buy these ships, okay? I have to go explain to my org why I gave away our secrets. So, GG's. Thanks for coming, okay? Follow the stream. All that jazz. Hold the damn line, okay? Hold the damn line. And I'll catch you guys later, yeah? There you have it, boys. Hey, I had so much fun on the stream, yeah? Had a big turnout. A lot of the guys from my YouTube comments showed up. You guys, a lot of the people from the Discord, a lot of friends. It was just a lot of fun, yeah? I've definitely been trying to stream more on Twitch just so I can start using it to make more combat content for you guys. When you guys come in there and let me know, you know, that you're here from, or on there, sorry, from YouTube, man, it's a good feeling, yeah? So make sure if you guys aren't in the personal Discord to get in it. Make sure if you aren't following my Twitch, do so. Come hang out, man. I love the talk, yeah? This game's really fun to theorize and stuff like that. So, yeah, just appreciate you guys hanging out with me on Twitch, yeah? Very cool. And hopefully that'll get more entertaining soon. Alrighty, guys. Look, 1, 2, 3, if you got this far, tell me what you think of the video. Ask me any questions about any of the picks. I'll try to answer them all. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.